Hello and welcome to TFT European Regional Finals Day 1, game number 4.
Because that's what we're playing on, little maps flying in the universe here. We are on Brix's board, who is going to start us off here. Round 4, keep in mind, the format is a little bit different to what we know from our Golden Spatula Cups. After this, there will be one more game, and nobody will be eliminated. The same thing is repeated tomorrow, and then there's going to be a big cutoff.
That being said, it's only 8 players that make it through to day 3. It's not 16 like it is in some other GSC tournaments, for example. It's just a very steep cutoff, which means that players that are currently in the bottom part of the standings, despite having a whole other day to catch up, are going to be in a very, very tough spot unless they go, 1-1-1-1-1 tomorrow. So players have to start doing and putting in the work right now. There's still 2 games left today. It's not over just yet for players like Wega and Kenobi and Marks and Revan. They have a chance still to fight for those top spots if they turn it around right now.
I mean, we talked about this before, get those Cursed Crowns and get those incredibly first or 8th strategies ready, because that's exactly what you need to do if you're towards the bottom of the table.
Something else that is ready is our Mirage that's now coming in. It is going to be a change from the first 3 games. Mortok has heard our pleas, and it's going to be Duelist Dexterity coming through here. Panda, how attractive is that Mirage?
Still attractive, still gives you some good combat strengths for both Yone and Deja. It's not one of the 2, Pirate's Greed, great econ trade early on, not so great in terms of giving you actual strength to work with in stages 4 and 5. Similarly with Electric Overload, good if you're overloading Leona with items, but not so good at actually winning fights later into the game, just doesn't give you that much raw power. Duelist Dexterity still can be very, very playable.
Be looking out particularly for Lumarpin, of course, our Golden Spatula Cup number 3 winner coming in 8th last time round, as we will be seeing gold augments swinging in. We have got the Skeleton's Crest, Three's Company, and first aid kits. Which do you fancy?
Definitely not Three's Company. Econ augments are kind of fake in this set because econ traits are so much stronger in terms of Shimmer skill, in terms of Astral. So they just, especially trading off an augment for it, just is really not worth it.
Wow.
A roll comes through, Scope Weapons comes through, Brix.
Brix just has us in for a roller coaster ride here. We're getting so excited for one thing. He's going to give us the next one.
I like this.
Forge coming through, and we see all of the augments on the left side of this screen. I cannot talk anymore.
Well, Better Together is coming through twice. We talked about this, of course, a little bit before. If we've got that Seraphine Graves kind of comps coming in, then we're loving having those extra boosts of all of our Zeeks later on.
But more importantly, Gold Collector onto this set can start farming a whole lot. We're talking about econ. This is one way to do it. Not the most likely. Obviously, you can't play for this Portable Forge item, but with a strong front line, with a strong carry like a set 2 is, it can work out. That being said, Yone now almost able to kill the set, but not quite. The gold comes in for Brix. He has the Maul fight, 3-star. Does he lock here? Or does he sell the Karma? He has a Karma pair as well. Tough spot to be in for Brix.
I don't think he's going to lock. I think he's just going to stare that Malphite right into the eye and watch it disappear as the next round is starting. We'll hopefully get something new in that chop that rolls around.
Yeah!
All right, I'm out of here.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Mortok, he already has 3 wins. You had to give this to someone else, not to Brix, please.
I mean, apparently Brix is doing absolutely everything right. He said, that gold is going to start flowing in, and they're going to be directly rewarded for playing a really strong board here. The more kills they get, the more money they get, the more levels they can put in, the more they can win, and they can steamroll this lobby.
Important to note, though, you want to have mainly only Set as a damage carry because you don't want a secondary damage carry to take away the kills from the Gold Collector unit. So it's important to, I think, develop more frontline and more stalling than actual damage here for Set.
Yeah, and actual damage he is going to have. Going up against Travis here, who is on a little bit of an astral angle, has that Ludens. Lux 2 being found very early on. I believe it was 2-1 where I saw that little pop-up. So definitely getting something out of the astral straight from the start.
What I always like about playing Astral in this kind of position like Travis is, where they're taking a little bit of a kicking, is at least you're guaranteed some amount of money. If you're playing Lagoon, you get run over, you're not getting the stacks. But Astral, you're always getting something. As you said, if you get those early stars in, your rewards get better and better. You start putting together a board of, say, 7 stars worth of Astrals, and you're getting a lot more money every single round.
Basic has the Better Together, has a Shimmer skill start. Ideally, Better Together, you do want to go into that Seraphine board, but as Peter Counterfeit mentioned earlier, there are 2 players that have picked up this augment. It works perfectly and optimally with that Seraphine Graves comp, which they might be contesting each other at this point, but The Volibear early on for Dragonmancer, hoping to find Shimmer Skill as well for Dasik, and that would be a great start for him.
Just an idea, and I don't know if that's actually something that's going to come around here, but how do you feel about the Better Together and the prospect of a Protector's Vow Guardian board?
I think we need to just come back to that in a second because we've seen something else that is going to drag our attention.
Okay.
It's going to be like gold monster stuff. Apparently, this lobby is raining gold.
This is why Goldmancer staff is so good. We was talking about it in games 1 and 2. So many early Volibears as well. Great news for the players that are able to find them because this is the hardest piece of the puzzle to get that 3 Shimmer Skill online without the Shimmer Skill Crest or the Shimmer Skill Heart. But in this case, Volibear for both Dasik and Chuso. No Shimmer Skill yet for Dasik, but Chuso especially, with the Goldmancer staff being the Shimmer Skill item, is going to have such a great early and mid game.
What makes you, you're saying about the Better Together though, you've certainly got a chance to be able to grab a lot of early aura items and get the maximum value early on. As we've seen, this is a very volatile lobby. We've got the Gold Monster stuff, we've got...
You said volatile. There's so many Volibears.
Yes! I love I'm having this effect on you guys. The joke quality is just going down the toilet while all the time the golden lobby is going to the heavens.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had to go there. It's just, I don't know what it is about that teddy bear that makes me want to do these cheesy jokes, but I just cannot. We are over on Travis's board, currently bottom of the lobby. At the very top, we have Dasik and Bricks, both on 100 HP. And Travis on a little bit of a loss streak angle.
Difficult spot here, not quite at that 30 gold threshold. Can't really sell the Skarner. Doesn't really have that many Astral stacks yet with both of them, most of them being 1 cost. As we mentioned, it becomes harder to 2-star these Astrals for free, essentially, as it was the case a few patches ago. That has been changed. Gold is now a bit more of a higher chance to get that gold instead of the units, which makes it harder to really stabilize in the stage 2. And we will see, I think, mostly a loss streak here for Travis.
And it's a little awkward as well, as we can see from Raiko. They've gone Astral as well, so that's going to be sucking out some of the Astrals from the pool, making that 2-star just a little bit harder to pull off. Raiko is currently in the middle of the table on 96 with a pretty solid-looking board, but at least for Travis, that loss streak will stay firmly in place.
Yeah, it will stay in place for Revan as well. Both of them just getting those losses in. A little bit of a pickup for Travis here.
Teasing us.
There's the upgrade now. The Vlad 2 has been found.
Naughty.
And Wega's in a great spot as well. A 3-win streak for him. Not able to get that first win, but has 5 Shimmer Skill in already. Has found a natural itis in stage 2. And when Shimmer Skill is so relevant in the current meta, you have to be sitting in a good spot. Lumanpin scouting and saying, really? This guy hit 5 Shimmer Skill already?
To be fair, we did see Wega on the Shimmer Scales in the previous game as well, and that didn't go too great. So while I love having that Ida so early, there needs to be more happening. Yes, the Goldmancer is going to help with that Volibear, but he needs to be slamming some items.
I mean, second item is also Determined Investor, so it's a great spot to be in, finding this early on, knowing that this is going to be that item. You're going to get the proc right away when Idis dies here, and able to get Diamond Hands early on is going to be crucial for stabilizing in the mid to late game.
I think it's really important that for Vegas board, they are able to actually get these wins in, with the current board, because Determined Investor great long term, but in the short term, it's going to do nothing to keep your win streak going.
Bricks and Wega, both now win streaking. Dasik lost his streak in this last fight. Unfortunately for him, you want to get that win streak going into Krugs, essentially a free bonus round of great econ, because you're hopefully not going to be losing to Krugs and losing that win streak in the process.
Yeah, I'm just staring on the right side of the screen where you can see a general overview of what players are on, and you can see Revan and Travis both on that little astral angle. And if I see that correctly, Lumarpin has a Deja already as well. We're in round 2-7, and there's 2 dragons.
Every single player has an econ trait online. Astral, Lagoon, or Shimmer Skill. I think this pretty clearly indicates how strong these econ traits are in the early game. If you don't have something that's giving you kind of passive gold throughout stages 2 and 3, you feel that so much in stage 4 when you have to roll down and you literally have no gold to roll with.
Of course, the consequence of having all this gold in this lobby is we're surely looking towards some truly ridiculous late-game boards.
An early Deja with Goldmancer staff here as well for Lumarpin, so some players are really hitting the high rolls here with the Shimmer Skill starts.
Yeah, Mordock smiles upon us, you could say, as we are going into second augments in just a little bit. There will be one more PvP round, and you can see players on the right side are mostly holding on to their gold, but some rolling happening from Wega, who's currently on the second place of the lobby.
And further to what you're saying, we've got the 2 win streaking players up the top, the 2 lost streaking players down at the bottom. So even pushing more gold in, even with these Shimmer Scale items, we've got huge streaks going in, the gold collector as well. Everything is pointing towards a hugely explosive later game.
I don't think this Deja can do it. The Volibear's already onto the Deja. The front line has melted here. Ida's taken down. Determined Investor procs for one more round, but still looks like it will be a fight win for Wega.
I don't know about this. There's no
Unless
damage left
The
on the board.
Hodge putting in some work here for that Deja Goldmancer
look at that
support
gold.
coming through. And I don't think the Jax and the Sejuani can take her down here. Lumakpin will find a win and push Wega off of that win streak. Now, is it going to be Prismatics 2-1? We are going to find out just now.
Nah. The rich got richer, though. Everything in this game is on point, on theme for a whole bunch of money. But for just a small point before we get any further, of course, you mentioned Wega lost their win streak. Bricks had the same thing happen to them as well. So we no longer have that incredibly strong top of lobby.
Gadget Expert is the correct pickup here for Lumarpin. Leans into that Deja even more.
The rich got richer, though. Everything in this game is on point, on theme for a whole bunch of money. But for just a small point before we get any further, of course, you mentioned Wega lost their win streak. Bricks had the same thing happen to them as well. So we no longer have that incredibly strong top of lobby.
Gadget Expert is the correct pickup here for Lumarpin. Leans into that Deja even more. Gets a third item online for that Deja to really pop off with the Wind Blast all throughout this stage 3. As I mentioned earlier, Rich got richer. Every single econ augment just not really as attractive as it should be in a set where there isn't really that many other ways to get more econ. In this case, I think Lumarpin is already good to go. I think it's almost always a mistake to lean too far into one aspect of TFT. If you get too much gold, you're kind of losing when it comes to combat strength. You have to kind of find a balance at this point.
Yeah, interesting pickup from Travis here, something we don't see an awful lot of. That last stand going to be picked up. I think Travis rolled before and it was still not ideal. We only saw the augments for a second, but there is the explainer in case you don't know what this does, because really we don't see it a lot. The first time you would technically die, you get a 1 HP buff. I believe that's where it came from originally, and that's going to give your units a small little buff, 200 health, 220 armor, a little bit of magic resistant Omnivam, and to me personally, that buff always felt very underwhelming for the fact that you're playing without an active augment until it procs.
Yeah, we've yet to see it, despite multiple appearances, make that big impact. But I think maybe it's a little bit of a desperation to tell here. For Travis, it could well be that they'll keep taking these big losses, get to the point where they get the 1 extra life, and not even have that move them one place up the table.
Rolling a bit here at 6, trying to get a few more 3-stars, a few more upgrades. Has that Varus 2 now, good power spec when it comes to the damage. Finds another Varus, finds more Luxes, 1 off of Lux 2, which is really what he's rolling for at this point. Has to try and find it in these next few rolls. Finds a Shield U, but again, this is full Astrals that he's looking for. The Silas will work out in terms of giving Mage and also now Bruiser with a Skarner, but can't quite find that Lux.
Yeah, that really hurts. You wanted that last copy to stabilize the board, to get extra damage, and with everybody else picking up dragons left and right, you're going to be in a tough spot sooner or later if you can't get this comp online.
We can see that Determined Investor not giving any extra board strength to allow for that Goldmancer stuff and the Volibear to really get the work in. But Wega, it's still up towards the top of the table. I think it's going to be able to get a little bit more money out of the round, but still takes the L. Travis starts their climb up the table.
Yeah, is going to do just that, and more things are happening. Reven also able to find a win, turn it around here on those 42 HP, not a lot. Once again, we're in 3-4. We're very much at the beginning of the game, and being under 50 HP is just not, it doesn't feel great, right?
And a small note here, just with what Reven picked up on their Augment, is they picked up the Jeweled Lotus. So they've been able to put that together now with an Infinity Edge. If Reven can stick in this game for long enough, they're going to be able to come back with a hugely strong late game board.
Travis picks up the chain, can essentially build another defensive item for that Vlad, hopefully, but finds the Lux 3 naturally in the shop. Fantastic news for Travis, and now definitely going to be, I think, very, very stable, especially if he finds that Sylas upgrade. That's the big one, I think.
Yeah, very, very important to look for that next. Also, the Varus upgrade will do a little bit of favors, but without items, not necessarily what you're looking for now. I would like to check in with Revan and see what is going on there. We know Travis is on that Astral angle, but I'm sorry, I have to say, Chuso, Revan, both in those bottom three. Chuso still looking pretty good with 70 HP, but Revan needs to find something here.
Again, we talked about before in terms of how the tournament works. You cannot afford to have multiple poor finishes on your record, even with this being a 10-game stage. Revan coming in 6th before, as we mentioned before, does have the possibility to have a hugely strong late-game board, but given how things are going, it might be a little dicey if they get there. The cast is good, though, and Revan gives us a taste of the firepower.
If he's able to get this Sohm 2-star online, essentially it will be a 4-item Sohm thanks to the Jeweled Lotus augment pickup. The Thrill of the Hunt makes it almost a 5-item Sohm, able to get some healing in as well. So this could be massive if he finds the right items. Morello and Blue Buff will probably be the items he's looking for. At this point, no components on the bench, so Revan still has a lot to go for here and still has a lot of chances to get items, components from Lagoon as well. So that might be a chance to really power spike.
Yeah, and while things are looking better for Revan, Travis has found another loss, and really that's not what it was going to happen. He did find that Lux 3. He was able to stabilize a little bit, but the comp is nowhere near where you would want it to be. 24 gold in the tank, not much to work with. Keep in mind, he does have the last stand, so once he falls onto that, he might just live for a little bit, but is the buff really enough?
I mean, we're talking about the buff. It's really, it's a multiplier for what you have on the board right now. And as you said, we're not going to be getting those Astrals to 3-star. We've got the Lux there, but the other ones are basically just there as filler. It's all about trying to get that Sylas online. Currently, instead, just that 1-star. And without a strong front line, the Lux cannot function.
As you said earlier, makes that last stand pickup. The augment is not really doing much of anything for Travis right now. And every single other player in this lobby picked up a potentially strong combat augment in this second pickup at 3-2. Component grab bags galore, so you have items all over the place. You're able to itemize your main tank or your main carry. In the case of Travis, just nothing is being given to him in terms of board strength for this stage 3, which is why he's losing these fights.
Yeah, maybe he can find just something, anything from these wolves here. Looking at Travis, it just doesn't feel like we are in 3-7. I'm so sorry, but it feels bad. I don't want him to be in this position, but yet here we are, and we will keep a close eye what is going on here. Finds another staff, finds a tier. That is an Archangel on the Lux if you want it, and I would assume he does.
Well, there's also the option as well of going for the Spirit Shojin, because getting more casts out of the Lux is also going to be another way to multiply up the damage. And yeah, we're going to slam in the Ionic as well. Again, it's all about the Lux now. The positioning of the opponents is going to be crucial, and if you've got a board which moves around a lot, the Lux can even miss entirely.
Something interesting that we are seeing on the right overlay, Raiko and Lumarpin are both on the duelist straight of Mirage right now, pursuing that, and it's doing them fantastic. Both are over 80 HP, looking really, really good.
You're telling me that Lumarpin, who hit that Deja early on with Goldmaster's staff, is streaking all throughout stage 3? I'm not really too surprised to see this happen. I think Deja is still a fantastic carry all throughout stage 4. One of the ways to go into those fast 9 boards, you have very generic augments picked up by Lumarpin, so it's going to be a chance to really have a great stage 4 and go into that Dragon board for Raiko as well with the second wind here.
Oh boy, Travis. That last stand isn't looking so far away at all, said Raiko. Doing very well up at the top of the table, Lumarpin. Win streaking as well. We're seeing the separation of the top from the bottom, though. Travis, the most dramatic.
The augments could save Travis. Doesn't have a reroll here. And how are we feeling about the outcome?
They just got a Rabadon's.
Celestial Blessing's okay. As you mentioned, the Rabadon's is on the bench now, so you don't need the Gadget Expert, don't necessarily need the Shiv, and go Celestial Blessing instead. Get some extra healing. Try and get all the shielding and all the effective HP to matter that much more once the Celestial Blessing kicks in. The roll down coming in here, you need to find the Sylas too. It's the most important piece of the puzzle right now for the stabilization of this comp, for that front line to really pop off. Varus is great, but really it's all about the Sylas, and you're not finding it here. You're going to have to maybe sacrifice some Astral units. The Nidalees get sold. A few more rolls come through, but you don't find it for Travis, and you're at 14 HP. One more big loss, and you're out.
you still have the last stand, so he's not going to be out just yet. But
Two more big
something
losses.
else going on. Wega finds a Shyvana 2 on round 4-2 just now. And Dasik also on the Swain 2 together with Ascension. The boards are coming together for everybody else, it seems like.
Well, this is what we're talking about. This game has been compressed. The early game, get out of here. It's all about getting into the late game and having these absurd boards. We do see Shyvana with the diamond hands. Won't be able to put out that much single
Scorch
target
as well.
damage, though. Deja is apparently just the ticket.
How do you have Shyvana 2, Scorch, Better Together, and all of that on 4-2? What?
There's a lot of money.
I'll
There's a
give
lot
you
of
the
money
answer,
here.
Makes. It's Shimmer Skill. That is the answer. It just allows these players to leapfrog everyone else when it comes to the boards they're able to assemble. This early on in Stage 4, you have so much more gold to work with, and you're able to still continue using the Shimmer Skill to, again, be strong on the board because Volibear is still a very good item carrier. You have Shyvana 2, you have a good tank as well with the Dragon Claw on the Idas. And this means it's going to be a fast 9, it's going to be a top 4, pretty much guaranteed for Wega at this point, despite his HP, despite being currently 5th in the standings. It's such a good spot to be in.
For what we're looking at from Wega's board here is an enormous amount of really good AoE. We don't have a ton of individual target damage. Up against Travis, of course, who said we'll have the extra chance. This is the problem that Lux is going to have. When the units are moving around the board, she's only got that very limited vector of damage. Hopefully she's going to eventually target someone a bit more relevant. The Shyvana's going to get through most of the round untouched. And while Lux has got that Celestial, it's not going to be enough. Travis, I don't think goes down to last stand right now, but gets pretty close.
Second problem is a Dragon's Claw. Built on this Idas, the scouting came through for Wega. He said, hey, a lot of players are trying to go for AP. I'm going to build a Dragon's Claw right away on my Idas and make sure that this front line will stay sturdy all throughout these late game fights.
Yeah, I'm still very impressed with whatever happened there, whatever magic. Wega, just keep in mind, currently bottom of the leaderboard. The Mordog Blessing just came right through the screen. He had a last and then 2 7th places in the first 3 games and is now looking to possibly dominate this one.
And that's exactly what they need. It's worth noting as well, as, while Travis is dancing on the edge of the knife, very good news for them is that Revan is in a position where they could potentially get knocked out, and we could actually see that last stand be the difference between a potential 8th and a 7th.
Wega, we were seeing there also, is going to be able to go 8 now if he wants to, and he picked up a Yasuo with a Chain Vest having a bow, so he can definitely put in that Yasuo, get a great unit in with that Titan's Resolve as well. Going to be a great power spike, but
Travis just hit the Silas 2, so possibly finally the turnaround, but it seems like everybody else has just found 2-star dragons already, and for Travis we're looking at a 5 astral comp that isn't really doing much. There's 2 3-stars, nothing else, 1 copy short of the Varus. Let's see if he has what it takes to bonk bricks on the head. The Lux will put in the work and try her best to take that Deja out that is on the very far corner. That's ideal positioning for the Lux one more time, but is it going to be enough? The Silas has lift, but the execution comes on in, and she is able to take him down.
This is absolutely huge for Travis. If they've turned the corner now, they can keep the last stand in the back pocket and try and move up the table. As much as they kind of want to activate last stand, they would also kind of like to not activate the last stand because that's just the extra ticket they get to an extra place further up.
To be honest, I think he would have liked to not have last stand in the first place. That's not a position you want to be in.
It's trying its best.
Yes.
that win is not a great sign though. Bricks is not very strong. I think the gold man or the gold collector on the set did not work out too well. He was currently sitting at level 8 with only 10 gold, despite only having a Deja 1 and not a board that looked too menacing, to be honest. So Bricks, I think, will start free falling when it comes to HP unless he's able to hit something big in these next few rounds.
Well, one person who doesn't have a get out of jail free card is our friend Revan here, up against what we've already seen. Another Deja, this one with 3 items. So it's going to be able to cast into a good amount of damage, but again, it's not the single target damage. Nada's doing its best to dance around the backline, that slipstream getting her where she needs to be.
One more
But
cast.
Soam cannot stand against the power of the Deja. Revan is out of there, and Travis is smiling.
Has to feel
Is
bad.
he though? Is he smiling? You can see that Xiaoyu coming for the Lux. She is going to try and take out the Xiaoyu, but will it be enough? It will once again. Travis, by the skin of his teeth, makes it to that treasure drake without popping that last stand.
That being said, sitting level 7 with 20 gold, econ-wise, and in terms of trying to spike this board even further past that Lux 3, not looking too good for Travis. I think really has to think, if I can get a 6th or a 5th place here, that's already a win in my books. It has not been a great game for him. I'd be surprised if he can really turn this around and go level 8 and really have a more powerful comp online.
Yeah, make sure you spam that exclamation mark AMD in the chat, as our partnership with AMD gives you all the good stuff.
Hey,
you can
that's some
win
good stuff.
something here, and hopefully our players are going to win something as well.
Well, the Varus 3 comes in. Travis, again, has not procced the last stand. They're literally playing down an augment here. And now I think they're finally coming together. The Whispers joins the field. That's massive. It's going to slice through the front line and allow, again, for Lux to continue to do a ton of damage.
Yeah, I was just looking at the right side of the screen. There was a lot of dragons that suddenly popped up, so I got a little bit intimidated there. But yeah, Travis is bringing this comp together. It is starting to work out here. Would definitely like to have an Asol. Is on level 7. You said it. Not going to get too far here. Lumarpin on the other side with that Deja that's looking deathly.
That Zephyr sends the defensive line up in the air, but it doesn't get taken down. That Silas is doing a lot of work, and Yasuo gets popped as well. Lux will finally get to go to work on the Deja and the 3-star Varus. That stun is huge, and that will be another W for Travis.
Perfect combination of CC there onto that Deja. But still, Lumarpin is, I think, the scariest player in this lobby. The gold lead he has, I don't even want to know how much gold he has above that 50, because I think with the Goldmaster staff, with that very, very early days, it was the start of stage 3 that he picked it up, it's going to be just so much econ and the chance to go 9 and upgrade that Deja into an Aoshin.
Our chat was having a heart attack, I think, for a second there, because Travis was waiting until the very last second to lock that store and pick up the Zoe, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, lock it!" And he did it last second.
Travis
picked
knows
it up,
how to be
easy,
a showman.
A people pleaser, a showman, content creator, everything in one, making his way through this lobby here.
The question I want to put to you guys here is, while Travis is doing well right now, they're basically as strong as they're ever going to be, unless they sell off the whole board and replace it with dragons. I mean, yeah, the Zoe coming into the side is definitely going to be a big upgrade, but we know this is a lobby with a ton of gold in it, and we know that there's going to presumably be these hugely strong late game boards.
Will be enough, though. As you're mentioning, Counterfeit, there's really no chance to econ back up. You're level 7, you're donkey rolling every single round, trying to find some amount of power here, but you're facing off against players that are soon going to hit their power spike. There's players like Lumarpin, there's players like Wega that have been playing Shimmer Scale that are now, chilling, just straight up going all the way to 9, letting this stage 4 and the start of stage 5 be rounds where they buffer, they take losses, they use their HP as a resource, and once these players all upgrade to their final boards, I don't think Travis is going to continue winning.
Yeah, I think the chances of that are very slim. Once again, he will have yet another chance to stay on in, but Raiko just hitting dragons left and right as he goes into that 4 dragon comp.
It's over.
Asol 2 on the line, Terra 1 copy short of being Terra 2, and that will be a terror for anyone else in this lobby.
Yes, Makes, we've made a convert of you down the darkest path of all. Let's see how that Asol 2 ends up doing. We've got a whole bunch of dragons in the mix, and of course we can see the Idis there with a huge amount of defensive HP. Deja's getting all the time to stack up that duelist dexterity, but Asol, we know, has the massive cast waiting, but we won't get to see it because Juso is getting eliminated. It's maybe 7th. No, Travis still hasn't popped the last stand. It's definitely 7th.
I'm no longer casting games with Spanish players. Please, production, do not put these players on the stream because it's not good luck. It's not happening here. Chuso takes the 7th, Revan takes an 8th. Travis still holding on with that 1 HP at this point. And Lumarpin and Raiko have both now assembled their dragon boards. Maybe Wega can do it as well, considering his econ lead in the early stages of this game. But all in all, I think the top 4 is almost decided at this point. There's players that are just so far ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. Like you just said, we saw that last stand being proc just now. Brix, who has been on a fantastic trajectory, 3 wins in a row, now looking a little bit weak here. 18 HP are left for him, but this lobby is very close with the exception of Lumarpin. Lumarpin has 71 HP. That's double anything what everybody else has, and is looking super comfortable.
The last stand has kicked in. I think 2 more rounds and Travis can actually go level 8, get 1 more unit online. But overall, it's looking tough.
Question, Peter, do you think he will live 2 more rounds?
Probably not. No, I don't think so. I have very little hope.
Depends who he faces. Could be Bricks.
Travis has got some amazing stats behind them. They're incredible
Bricks?
top 4 player up against Bricks.
That might work.
The
That might
Goldmonster
work.
stuff has actually moved off of Danger and been replaced by the Archangels instead, so there's a lot of power there. I think this time round it's going to be good enough. Bricks is actually starting to look a little killable. Nearly the entire board survives, and Bricks almost becomes a last stand user themselves.
Down to 2, Dasic down to 7 as well. A clear divide here between the players that had those very early econ leads with Shimmer skill online to everyone else basically that just wasn't able to assemble that same type of economic lead throughout stages 2 and 3. And in this case, for Wega now, as we mentioned, level 9, 40 gold, still hasn't even made the transition. Gonna think about it now, where he thinks he finally, nope, never mind, still just popping off the Shimmer skill items and gonna continue waiting until he's in trouble. He's still 21 HP, that's still at least 1 more big loss.
Oh boy. We haven't seen much of Dasic for a while, and apparently they've got a Rengar 3 with the better together. Of course, you call that out right at the start of the game, makes that's like a massive amount of shielding and an enhanced Seeks to make that Rengar 3 hit even harder.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to go out to this entire team. But on the other side, there is that dreaded Shyvana waiting. And it will be really a battle of the Rat Dragons as they fight each other off. Both of these were hit super early. And for choose a Wega that actually turned into gold, whereas Dasic is completely nulled out, no gold in the tank, and you can see the sheer damage that Shyvana does.
I hope Wega doesn't die here with all that gold still left in his pocket. He's going to feel incredibly bad. Going to go down. This is his last chance now. He greeded to get to this PB round. He has now made it. This is one of those incredibly weird spots.
Oh, no, sure.
Yes!
Of course.
Yes!
Of course. No.
I was gonna say it was weird because you have a Thieves Gloves that it's actually correct to not put on anyone, but now the game said you want weird. Here's even more 3 Zeeks.
Can we
on
get
this
some
PB round.
question mark pings onto that? Like, what is going on in this
That
lobby?
is obscene. That is obscene. It just could not be better. Dasic promised us they were getting to Worlds this year. This game, they've got to go first now.
Okay, look at Dasic's player cam. This is so Dasic. Not even a muscle is moving as his
I think I
brain
see a smile,
is going
a little smile.
crazy. He knows exactly what he wants to do here. Needs to find a replacement ideally, but that should be it for now.
So I just wanted to bring up a kind of a larger idea which has kind of been threading through these games. For what Dasic's got here is incredible single target damage. If you don't have a way to kill the Rengar, you cannot win the round. It's just impossible. And a lot of these boards, they are AoE. They just don't have the single target damage to deal with them.
It's also really hard to find a unit that can actually single target Rengar because he jumps around. He's a bit weird with targeting, and he's right on to the enemy backline for now, getting stuck on that tank for just a second. Raiko will not get knocked out here if he should lose, but it will be a very big win for Dasic if he can do it. That Rengar is just stabbing everything in its path, and he can find another win. Wega getting knocked out, though.
That was incredibly close. I mean, Dasic has hit his cap. He can't really find much else. The Rengar's 3-star. You're not going to go for a 3-star Swain. This is your board. You're still level. I guess you can go level 8 still and get 1 more Darkflight in to get a few more aura items online. But overall, these Dragon boards, if they're able to position correctly, clump in a corner, have their main damage carry like the Aoshin and the Aesol stay alive, it could be enough. And it could be enough for Travis as well. Last stand really proving to the name is definitely on the right page here for Travis.
Still
because
standing.
He's still alive here, still standing at 1 HP.
Yeah, I'm going to eat my words here. Apparently, last stand, I think for the first time that we've seen on our broadcast at least, actually paying off pretty big. It's still an open question whether or not this board can compete with the hyper late game boards, but Lux is doing a hell of a lot of damage. The damage dealer, of course, is on the back line, and that's exactly where Lux likes you to be.
That damage is just coming through, slicing. The entire enemy backline just got knocked out of their life. And
Big
I think
hole.
it will be enough. The Lux goes one more.
The healing is so big.
Oh, no! You were the chosen one!
The black hole healing is so big with a hand of justice. Dasic taken down, Travis taken down. It's down to Raiko and Lumarpin. Who would have thought that the Dragon boards would end up being the winners here?
Looks as confused I'd imagine Dasic must be feeling right now.
Yasuo can do a lot in terms of stalling. knock up that Rengar to the air, let the Deja clean up. I'm not too surprised. I think Rengar's great, but even with that setup, one bad amount of CC when you're relying so much on one damage carry can be a little bit dangerous.
I guess that does answer the question of how much attack speed is too much attack speed.
I'm very impressed with Lumarpin on that duelist. Still has 1 star on his board and has just been stomping throughout this entire lobby. Let's see if he has what it takes to take down Raiko once more. Raiko a lot less HP than Lumarpin should live. However, should he go down here, it's not going to be much to work with. And you can see that damage from the Deja just coming in, and she's doing so much.
Yes, Yasuo is just doing so much. Best in slot Yasuo by, you know, everyone's margins. Bloodthirster, Titan's Resolve, and that Cav Spat is so big. The 6 Mirage proving to be fantastic as well with a buff to Nunu recently with a Guardian Emblem. And that's another Cav Spat for Lumarpin, so this is looking like a very good spot for him. 60 HP to work with. I mean, even just one bad fight for Raiko in terms of RNG not going his way, and that's it. Lumarpin becomes the champion of this game. That's the thing about this. Last game, Spanish player did very well, two Spanish players very poorly. Now they rotate around. Lumarpin's the one that wins.
Is that what you told them?
They're sacrificing for each other. You know, this is how strong our community is, mate.
The problem with that is they're going to go down holding hands if they continue to do that.
Let's not get any logic and rationale into this argument, please. Let me believe.
Okay.
All right, so, I mean, we're looking like Lumarpin, you're bringing Mirage back into the conversation in a big way here, up against what should be the ultimate late game board and still tearing absolutely into it. Raiko is going to do their very best to hold on. They've got 1 life left. Even if Lumarpin loses here, they've got a way to reconfigure the board. The Asol is trunking out the damage, though. We'll see if that last pick can come through. The knockup is good, and I think this will be the end. The black hole beckons for Raiko, and they are out of there. Lumarpin goes from 8th all the way to 1st.
Yeah, and that was just so good for him.